Hi, welcome back to Point Blank. Now SMU has a wellness center that helps students de-stress, and it's entirely run by the peer helpers who are students themselves. So Timothy, maybe you could share with us before we roll the VT what the kind of scheme that you use to train the helpers, and what is the scenario that you were telling them?
Okay, to be very put it in a very simple nutshell, we have the emotional safety net in SMU, and this safety net comprises of the professional counsellors, the peer helpers, and then the students who take the class, which I teach, facilitation counselling skills, and of course administrators and faculty members. So this 5 categories of individuals form the safety net. So what happens is that the peer helpers, their role very much, they are like the ears and eyes for the counselling centre on the ground. And one of the philosophies is this, that one professional counsellor, or there's 5 of us, 2 full-time, 2 volunteers, and 1 counselling intern. The 5 of us, it's not possible to meet the needs of 6,000 students. It's impossible. So the philosophy is that we know that every individual peer helper would have at least 30 friends. So if we have, say, 60 peer helpers and 180 students who go through a class every year, theoretically 6,000 students are covered if everyone has 30 friends, theoretically. So based on that as a mindset, the peer helpers are trained to be always on the lookout for friends who may be showing signs of distress or depression, and then they will engage with them and to connect with them.
But this scenario that I'm going to be showing later is actually more like a post-trauma.
It's more post-trauma. Okay, I thought about scenario. This scenario essentially is like, because as part of the training for the peer helpers, I always give them scenarios and they will just role plays and all that. What you're going to be watching in a short while is actually a post-trauma situation. It's actually based on a true situation which happened at SMU many years ago. There were actually a group of students playing frisbee. They're actually training for a competition, and then in the middle of the competition, this student actually collapsed, and then he had a heart attack, and then he died on the spot. So that's a couple of years back. So what happened was that then immediately after that, and there was the early years with no peer help. So the next day, I actually sat down with the whole frisbee team, and I did a post-trauma psychological debrief. So this time around, I took the same scenario and I trained the peer helpers. On the assumption is that they have the frisbee team people, they were there, they saw this incident happen, and they were all traumatized. So within 48 hours, the peer helpers will be gathering the groups of students and then doing a debrief. So that's the scenario.
Very good. So let's take a look at the role play.
So now I just want to get an idea of what exactly happened and try to look at it through your eyes. So Eric, if you want to start, can you describe
You're just running and running about. And suddenly, I just saw him just falling on the ground, and I thought what happened, so I went over. I thought he tripped down or something.
Okay.
But when I went there, he was just lying there. He won't budge. I tried to tap on him, but he just don't respond. He never even respond to me anymore.
Ian, do you agree with Eric's description? Was there anything else that you saw?
Yeah, I think I didn't really catch him falling down, but suddenly I just heard someone shouted that this person has fainted, and so there was just a big cross all of a sudden, and he was lying there motionless. At the moment in time, I was thinking, like, how could this have happened? And after he didn't wake up for several minutes, I started to panic.
Okay, thank you. Audrey, I understand that you know him personally, so what were your first thoughts when you saw the incident happen? What thoughts went through your mind?
Well, I was quite near him. When I saw him trip, I really thought maybe he fell down. But when I realized that, when I went over with Eric and saw that he was motionless, I thought maybe he might have fainted or what. But no, he was actually he felt like lifeless, and I was quite scared. And after several minutes, after he did not wake up, I don't know.
It's okay. Thank you for sharing that.
Okay, so that was one part of the role play. Maybe Timothy can just let us get an idea. What was the counsellor trying to do? I mean, he was asking certain questions about how they
what
felt.
happens at the counsellor, in this case, right, we had to do a 7-step. There's a 7-step process. I was supposed to email that to you. The 7-step process, and that is a part of the debrief session. So the 7 steps includes things like, okay, asking the individuals what were the observations. Then moving on to what were the emotions, how did they feel about it, and then moving on to things like, okay, now that you have described it, how do you feel currently, and what are some things that you are doing in your life to cope with the situation. And then of course moving out eventually is the now that you've talked about this coping, have you had recurrence of nightmares or anything along those lines, and then eventually talking about how moving forward, how can these individuals learn to cope effectively on a daily basis. So this is actually a psychological debrief, which is a very powerful process, because every individual who actually goes through a trauma situation should go through that.
Yeah.
Because it helps them to actually live through the moment and actually come to terms with it and accept that it happened. Yeah. So
Sort of
it's
like
that's
catharsis, would you say?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So encourage them to just let out their emotions and
That's right.
ventilate and share.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at the second part of the role play and see what are the questions the counsellors ask.
It's alright if you don't feel like talking about it. Please do allow your teammates to express themselves in whichever way they find appropriate. Eric, would you like to share with us what thoughts ran through your mind? What was the first thing you did when you realized that maybe something was more serious with him?
Everyone is like crowding there, and I was looking at him, and I really don't know what's happening in my surrounding. My mind was just blank.
Would you like to share with us why you felt this incident happened? What was your explanation for why this thing happened?
Today I could explain why this happened. It shouldn't have happened. I mean, people play frisbee every day, but this kind of thing don't happen. So I was taken aback. I still couldn't really accept the fact that this has happened to him.
It's very, very strange for someone to be jumping happy maybe 15 minutes before, suddenly just lie there, be lifeless in front of you. I don't know, it just sets me thinking and feeling afraid myself, and I couldn't get to sleep at night.
Is that what's keeping you awake at night? This fear that it may happen again?
Yeah, you're right.
Alright, thank you.
Wow, excellent role playing, very realistic. I think you trained them very well.
Thank you.
So these are the peer helpers. Maybe I wanted to ask Sankar and Gateway later, but would you find the peer helper helpful? It means to have your peers to be the one.
I think going by seeing from the video, I think I've not really experienced any of this stuff before, but I think peer help, I think it would play a very important role in helping fellow students who are in trauma, for the fact that if you can't really share some stuff with your professors or even some professional counselors, you might not even know them, I think most people share their stuff with their friends. So I think for that matter, I think peer help would actually play a very important role in sharing their emotions, and normally they say, right, when you let your emotions out and you feel better and stuff like that.
That's right.
So most of the time, I think when it is to their friends, I think it actually it'd be better rather than to someone else. So I think it'd be a very good idea to implement.
Okay. How about Gateway? What do you think? Do you think peers can help each other find out problems, or whether the student is depressed or stressed?
I think it will help. I mean, maybe I'm not so sure about at a same age group level, but definitely if from a senior to junior perspective, definitely I think that has helped, because even when I was in uni, some of my juniors have spoken to me before and talk about some very personal matters, and it's just something that as friends you go by, or as a junior senior, when you're building that relationship, you're guiding them along, they naturally come to you. And I think it would be we would be even better able to help if we had been trained previously, rather than just giving advice that maybe we heard from third parties or through our own personal experience, which may not always be the best.
Right.
So you would rather have wish you had gone through some training, right?
Yeah. Some people are actually saying that, you know, peer-to-peer might not provide the adequate help. Some people would actually want a professional or somebody who's more experienced or more credible to help. Is that true? Are there students who would rather have like someone like you to help them?
Of course, I mean, different strokes for different folks.
Right.
So that's why we try to cover as many grounds as possible. So for students who feel that speaking to their peers is a bit strange, uncomfortable, then they can come talk to us. But for some students, like what Shankar said, they're uncomfortable speaking to a counselor, like, who are you? I'll rather speak with my friend. So that's why, because of that, the perspective that we want to have, train as many individuals, students as possible, with these basic skills of listening, so that I can draw out from the fellow friends whatever issues that they are experiencing, I can draw them out and then get them to talk about it. Because once they talk, healing begins.
Right. I'm just curious because like lecturers now are so pressurized because students are so demanding. Do any lecturers go to counselors for help?
Well, nobody came to me. Well, no, we did get the email, right? They refer students to us.
Oh, yeah.
But obviously, the instructor is going through some stress too, because he or she wants to do the right thing.
That's right.
He or she wants to help the student and also make sure that we maintain the professional standard when we teach, right? Because we need to be fair to all students. So the academic standard cannot be compromised, but we, as individuals, we want to help the person emotionally to go through a hard time.
So the lecturer actually have an avenue to come to you or Timothy when they need help as well, right? Okay, that's great.
Okay, I just graduated from NTU, and actually my pet phrase in school, right? Some of you may agree with me or disagree with me that no, grades just aren't everything. Okay,
I agree with you.
No, okay, great. So, well, thanks for coming to our studios tonight.
Yes,
thank you, Gateway. Thank you,
having you.
Yeah, thank you, Timothy, and of course, Shankar. And thanks for staying with us on Point Blank. We'll see you till the next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.